Welcome to the Brilliant Black Man Show, created to bring to light the success stories of Black men all around the world. It is the mission and goal of Melissa Johnson to share these incredible, talented, and successful men with viewers across the country. Wake up, America, and listen to the interviews of these strong Black men who are making a difference in their family, community, boardroom, and the world. They are building empires and leaving a legacy. Their life story and success matters, and it's Melissa's goal to change the narrative of how the Black man is portrayed in the media, streets, home, workplace, and beyond. Join Melissa on a journey to bring awareness to the brilliance of the Black man on the Transformation Network. Follow the interviews as these men speak on the importance of entrepreneurship, education, financial literacy, legacy building, and building Black businesses within their communities. Now, here is your host.
Hello, this is Melissa Johnson of Wow Ministries with the Brilliant Black Man Show. Welcome to the show. Today, I will introduce to you a CEO of Seafood Oil NC in Mount Holly, Michigan.
Correct.
No, it's not. It's in North Carolina. We're from Michigan, but it's in North Carolina. Mr. Rexford White. Welcome to the show, Rex.
Thanks for having me.
Just a little humor.
It's a pleasure.
Just a little humor. We're both from Michigan, and
Yeah.
so it's a pleasure to be here in this establishment today in North Carolina, Mount Holly, North Carolina. And so I would like to welcome Rex again to the show. This is his second time on the Brilliant Black Man Show.
Yeah.
Today is a bittersweet day for the Brilliant Black Man Show. We started the show in July of 2020. Rex was my first Brilliant Black Man that I interviewed at that time. And when I interviewed him, the restaurant was in the process of opening, but it wasn't quite open. And we interviewed here on the Brilliant Black Man. It was the tour at that time, and he was my very first guest. And today is my last show with the Transformation Network. And it's my privilege to come back to his establishment and to interview him again where it started. But today it's open. And it's a phenomenal place, and it's doing extremely well. And I would like to share his success with you on today. So I would like to welcome this man, Rexford White. He is a businessman. He is an entrepreneur. He is an inventor. He is a writer. He is a producer. He does it all. He is a father of 5 children. And he's proud to wear that hat. He's a great father. He's a great businessman. And I would like, again, to welcome him to the show. And it's my pleasure to share his success story with you today. Welcome, Rex.
Thanks for having me, Melissa.
Thank you so much.
It's quite the honor. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. And so we would like to start this interview today. Just tell us a little bit about who Rexford White is.
Thank you. The best description I have for myself is a product developer. I'm a creator. I've been creating since I was a kid. And I love the juices that become flowing when I start creating. So I'm a creator. It's my passion since I was a young man. I remember the song got called Candy Girl by New Edition. I'm aging myself. But I wrote the lyrics down on a little cassette tape, and I would go to school and sell the lyrics for 5 cents. And I think that's what my entrepreneur juice started.
Wow, wow. I can recall back to July 2020 when you were trying to figure out the recipe of success for Rexford White. It started with live crafts.
Yep.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Well, when you're looking for an idea to build something special with, you're looking for something that's in the right industry, that's got enough substance to where you can always find an audience that wants it. So live blue crab just became the idea. And I was looking for an idea and it just met me where I was. And so I took that idea, found the audience, and then cultivated the idea into a seafood market, into seafood restaurant concepts. And now we're looking to grow and expand. But ultimately, what we want to do is we want to get inside an $8 billion industry, which is the seafood industry. And so, but you got to start somewhere.
You gotta start.
So humbly, I had to start with very few resources, but just ideas and work ethic, and started building upon those ideas and work ethic. Started transacting in the space in the industry, and now we're building our way back through the supply chain of seafood.
And why seafood? Why seafood and why in Mount Holly? Charlotte is the big city in North Carolina. Why did you choose Mount Holly to start this restaurant, and why seafood?
Yeah, well, seafood came to me because some friends were in love with live blue crabs, and they told me as much. And they said something that really appealed to me, and that was if someone brought live blue crabs to Charlotte, they'd be rich. And again, me looking for an idea and industry, they gave me the idea. And Mount Holly came along because I was going to put a different concept in this building. I was going to do health, the health industry, health concepts and products. But when I decided to do seafood, I thought I'd start here. Now, with the nation being my oyster, this is the proving grounds where we're going to continue to, make products and eventually start to expand outside of Mount Holly.
Wow, that is awesome. Can you share a little bit about the recipe of success for you?
Oh,
I can recall you opening up the business and you had to tweak it a lot of times to get it right. Why did you have to tweak it, and is the recipe right now?
yeah. So with anything that you've never done before, as a discovery, right? Discovery of what works. And then once you figure out what works, then you let it go. But oftentimes a lot of stuff won't work. And so you have to identify where you can get better, and we call it iteration here. And so we iterated so much. We just had to figure out what customers wanted, how long it would take for them to find something new that we would offer and come and get it. And understand like word of mouth and the seasonal nature of the seafood business. So the best thing I would say is, as far as starting as an entrepreneur, is number one, make sure it's in the right industry. Number two, do an inventory of what you have inside of you to cultivate inside of that industry. Number three, go out there and see if people want the idea. Like if no one wanted blue crabs delivered, there's no business to start. But they started actually ordering blue crabs before I even made it a formal business. Once I saw an audience, I started to formalize the business, and then started to introduce new things inside of the same space, and it grew from there.
Yeah. So how important is the location? Again, we said the location is here in Mount Holly. How important was the location? And do you believe that you would have flourished had you started in maybe the big city of Charlotte?
Yeah, I think location is very important, especially in food, but you can start anywhere and then grow to the areas where you can get more exposure. See what I'm saying? But the cool thing about being here, it really tested our mettle because it's not a big city, but we draw in from Charlotte. So we bring people from, Greensboro, people coming out from Hickory. For those who don't know the area, you're talking about miles away just to try our food. Like literally coming here. I drove an hour and 15 minutes. I had to try this place.
Wow.
So we're able to draw people who don't live in the area, and I think that's phenomenal.
What makes seafood so unique for North Carolina?
We're
from Michigan, and I don't know if it's so unique for the Midwest like it is here in the South. Why do you think that's the case here in the South? They love seafood.
I think that the migration from New York, Baltimore, and over from Charleston, you got so many people that are in love with seafood because they're off the coast.
Okay.
Now, people from the mids, it was all about catfish as far as seafood, but it was other things, right? The beef and the poultry and the pork. And so I just think that this is a great melting pot. One, is drawing so many people all over. Predominantly, though, people are coming over from forward in that desire for seafood.
That is awesome. So as I talk about your story, I talk about the recipe for success. It's kind of like a play on word for you.
Figured
You know?
yeah, I've been going there.
So it's a recipe for success, but it's also a recipe for all of these seasonings and sauces that you have created. Talk a little bit about your product. I think your product is unique to this industry. I'm gonna let you say it in your words, but I believe you create all of your dishes and all of the recipes for these dishes and all of your sauces and your seasonings, which sauce and seasoning is very important to food. It's important for me. And I think it's in the seasoning and the sauces, and you create your own. And you have your own brand now. How did this come about? And also share with me how important your mom is to this process.
Yeah, so it's funny how you pick up on things when you're a kid. You know, my mother cooked every day. We never ate out because we really didn't have the resource to eat out. And so when I decided to get into the seafood business, I realized that I had all these recipes stored in me. And oh, by the way, I've always had a gift in putting food together. You know, and feed myself. My mother would cook like a home cooked meal every day of the week, and she put the food in the refrigerator. Well, I was the only person in the house that ate leftovers. So everybody was wondering what was for dinner. I come out the kitchen with a little bit of black eyed peas, some old macaroni and cheese, some chicken wings from the day before, some greens, some Sunday, and have a full course meal. You know, when stuff sits in the refrigerator for a couple of days,
Right.
all those seasonings start to marinate in, and it becomes really good. And so I just knew how to put food together from a young age, but I got it from my mother's cooking and influence. So when I came into the restaurant business, first we're just going to be supply chain. All I want to do is be a distributor of seafood. But that costs a lot of money. That's an industry that's a ton of money. So you got to pay to get in. You got to buy in large quantities and then try to find people to sell to, right?
Right.
And you got to deal with keeping it frozen, keeping it fresh, et cetera, et cetera. And so that requires a large investment in time, resources, money, technology, et cetera. And so when I decided to get in, I said, okay, well, I can deliver crabs. I can also deliver shrimp and crab legs, et cetera. Let me do a market first. Understand the business that way by doing a market, see what people want, and then build from there. Now I looked at my space and said, damn, I can make a restaurant here. I've never done this before in my life. Right?
Wow.
So I created a restaurant and I literally created a menu that I thought would be a good menu for the restaurant. Now here's the funny thing. Most of the things I put on my menu, I didn't make until somebody actually bought it. Until a customer actually came in and ordered it. That's when I made it. I know that sounds crazy because most people create a menu, invite friends and family in, have them test it, taste it, and tell them what they think. Well, I didn't have the resources, so I said, okay, I think I'm good enough to make it the first time pretty good. If it ain't that good, I can continue to improve upon it. But that's what we did. But I also created sauces and spices for that menu. And once it got to be where people really love the food, I said, I got a scaling business now. I can create products. So now we've got 30 products that we've created through Seafood Boil and Sea and Jack seasonings and sauces. And so we're looking to start scaling that outside of Mount Holly. Again, it doesn't matter where you start, it's just where you're going to.
Where you going?
And so you got to start somewhere. So lesson in all of this is don't worry about where you start, just have a vision to go wherever your target audience grows to as you continue to iterate your business and make it exceptional.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm reminded of a quote by Les is that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great.
Yep.
I like that quote.
Very cool.
And you have definitely started on the journey of greatness. And I am so proud of you and so proud to share your success story with the world today. And so what are the recipes that keep customers coming back?
I think the ones that are probably most important are the ones that go into a lot of dishes. So we got a Cajun garlic sauce. It's got 13 ingredients in it. We got a spicy Cajun sauce. It has 14 ingredients in it. We use those sauces inside of boil bags. We also use them in most of our recipes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we might have our spicy garlic sauce in our jambalaya. You're gonna have our Cajun garlic sauce and our etouffee and our red beans and rice. And so what people are tasting is somewhat familiar, but what I do with the rest of the ingredients that goes into it gives everything its own signature taste. But it's made from a great foundation. It's like anything that you build, it comes from a great foundation. Well, those sauces are our foundation. We got a cranberry remoulade sauce that I created. This thing is amazing. It's like a remoulade that you would expect to taste at a restaurant in New Orleans, but I added fresh cranberries, right?
Wow.
And I didn't learn that. It was just instinctive because for me, it's all about creating something that no one else does or has. Folks love our praline cornbread.
I love that praline cornbread.
So coming from the background, my family's from Louisiana. My mother's from Baton Rouge, my father's from Freeport. And so she taught me at a very young age how to make praline candy. Because she would make it like once every 2 years. And I'd be like, Mom, make that candy. She was like, it takes 3 hours to make this stuff.
Wow.
And so I said, well, you gotta teach me how to make it. And so what I did was I decided to take the praline candy, instead of letting it harden and become a candy, I stopped shy and made a sauce. And I started figuring out what I put the sauce in. So all my desserts get the sauce as a topping. And my cornbread, we actually bake praline sauce inside of our cornbread. And folks don't know what hit them when they eat it for the first time. They're like, what is this? It's moist, it's good, it's sweet, it's da-da-da. And so we just try to make things here really good, but different than wherever else you would go overseas.
Yeah, it is. It's very unique. I remember that cornbread, and I remember the first time you made it, and it was very small. I said, Rexford is so good. Need more of it. Enlarge this.
Give me a reason to come back.
Yes, and so you're not a chef.
No, I don't claim to.
You're a businessman.
I'm a creator.
You're a creator. And you have created all of these recipes, and you're not a chef.
Client.
And you're
And no, I'm not a chef. Don't claim to be one. No one can pigeonhole me and tell me that you're a chef, but I am as a product creator. That's all I am.
and
Bottom line.
and it's just amazing because you've created again so many products under Jack's seasoning. I believe Jack stands for, is that your son?
Yeah,
Jackson, right? And you have the sauces under the same name, Jackson, and you have sea moss. I don't really know what that is. So can you share that with us?
Sea moss is seaweed. Essentially what it is, you can get it from Jamaica, you can get it from St. Lucia, you can get it from Hawaii, Honolulu. And it's a seaweed that comes from the sea. Now, folks who live in those areas, they would eat it. What we do is we get it brought in and we put it in alkaline water, which is really good for digestion, really good as a natural supplement. And what sea moss does is it gives the body additional minerals and vitamins. In other words, it helps you regulate your body, your digestion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a superfood and it should be, you feel better after you take it. And if you take it in conjunction with a good water regimen, activity, a good diet, you know, getting off of the meats, the heavy meats and stuff like that, then it make you a healthier person. So we do that here, and we use a lot of flavors, the fruits rather, that you can't find anywhere else. So I do seasonal fruits in my sea moss, whether it be papaya, mango, or something like that. And so we're creative there too. We also do eggnog. So we do a lot of seasonal things that, you know, you can't find anywhere else.
That's amazing. And not only are you a creator, you're a writer. You have written 2 published books. Your latest book is called Build a Legacy Business. Build a legacy business. And how do we do that, Rex?
All right, so that's a series. We've got 2 books in the series out. The motivation, let's get to the motivation of it.
Motivation.
Okay. And so I see a problem where this is a solution to fix it. The problem is that so many of our young people come out the house. In other words, they get to be 18 and they got to go out in life and figure out what they can do for a living. Well, legacy business is predetermining for them something they can do when they become older and avoid high federal student loan debt. Also teaches them things like financing, inventory, marketing, sales, etc. before they even get out of high school. Because you want them to help, want them to help you with the business. But I'm taking folks step by step into building a legacy business for their children, even just for themselves if they don't have children.
Right.
It's never too late to start.
Never too late to
And the books will find you wherever you are in life. Because quite frankly, the best person that's gonna take care of you is you. So it's a way of taking care of your future you by starting today.
How important is legacy?
It's very
For you?
important.
How important is legacy?
Well, what's funny is I saw a lot of folks in different communities do legacy businesses since I was a kid. We grew up in Detroit, so the corner stores are owned by old Chaldeans, right?
Absolutely.
And their kids are running around in the
One
stores.
time they were owned by African Americans.
Long time ago.
Right.
Now they're all.
That's right, all kinds of things.
And so the Chaldeans would have their kids in there. A lot of them came over in
Mhm.
1960. They didn't have a lot of money from there. And they started becoming merchants. They come from a merchant background. Countries that most of the immigrants nowadays they come from, they are owners in their countries. Does that make sense? Which is why they come over here. They start a business. And so I saw Chaldeans raise their children in the stores. Now their children own the stores. Now the children's children at 51, the children's children now own the stores that I was walking into when I was 7 years old. So 3 generations down, and over the same span of time, I don't know many people in our community that has done that.
I was going to ask you that. How important is that? Because it appears that in our community, we give our children an option. And in other communities, as a Chaldean, there's no option. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
What is that the best way? The no option way? Or do we show them the importance of leaving this legacy and the importance of them taking it to the next level? What are your thoughts on that?
But the ideal way is to create a business when your kids are small so they can grow up in it. To where, they can have an option like, Chaldean, well, some other communities have children who they have legacy businesses built that kids can assume them, or they can go to college. Those communities pay for the college, one, so they're not taking out student loans. 2, they go into professions where they will eventually become business owners, like law, accounting, medicine. So I see a lot of that in other communities too. And send their kids to college, go get a law degree, become a lawyer, and they own your own practice. See what I'm saying? In our community, too often we go and get a degree to work for somebody else's legacy business, right?
But how important is it to take what you have
As a
built
parent.
as a parent
And
and pass that on to your child?
it's extremely, and it's not even the monetary, benefits. It's the teaching and the collaboration with a young mind. Eventually, they get it. They say, "Mom, Dad, your business is great. I grew up in it, but now I got new ideas." See, new ideas takes the business from one generation to the next. As we age out, everyone does, right? So there's technology now, like TikTok. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to do with that, right? But my kids do.
Kids do.
Exactly. So it's a whole
And Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Yes, yes.
So really, the important thing with a legacy business is making it make your kids have ownership over it. You see what I'm saying? And once they have ownership on it, they be like, it's my business, right? And tell them it's theirs.
Right.
And then start bringing in new ideas to you. And before you know it, you can hand it off to them because they've learned all the aspects of business and also hard work.
Hard work, that's the key. We need to teach them that. How important is legacy in our community?
It really is a solution to our community's issues. And the reason why I say that is because we're always starting over. Like we miss out on a lot of great opportunities because of lack. In other words, we miss out on great relationships because of lack. We come together a lot of times because of lack. What I mean by lack of a foundation that come out of a house with, boys, dysfunctions, lack of thinking the right way. We end up attracting the same kind of energies out here, and therefore we're behind. Other communities come out with no financial issues, having sat at dinner tables with their whole family up until they go to college or also in the businesses. So they don't have a lack, there's no thirst. In the Black community, what we often do is because we never had a whole lot, materialism because our gods serve materialism. We have to look a certain way, we gotta seem a certain way, and that's most important to us. Other communities can just be. They don't have to be anything different because they don't have the lack.
Wow, that's powerful. That is powerful. How do we, is it possible, let me reword that, is it possible for us as a Black person in America to get back to that Wall Street concept? Is it possible for us to build communities and to build businesses in our community that thrives? Is it possible to build businesses in our community where we're working together in unity?
Yeah.
Is that concept possible today?
It's possible. But the only way it's going to work is we have to instill hope in the entire community. What we lack oftentimes is a lack of hope. But how you get hope is we have to start letting go of our past. You mentioned, was it Tulsa?
Yeah, Tulsa.
Tulsa, 1898, there was the Wilmington, North Carolina coup, that massacre that happened. So we have so many historical events that tell us where we came from. Cool, got that, right? I get the whole Black History Month, got it. But we have to be able to know where that is, put it someplace, resolve it in our heads that happened, not ignore it. We have to mentally get from this awareness that there's still devices against the Black community out here. We gotta pay it forward and get out of our subconscious thinking, which is lack of opportunities and doubt that's created from our history, and think, what are the possibilities in the future? How do we do that? We do that by not falling for the same chains that held us down, which is our family is the nucleus. Our families are not together. Our families, 75% of Black American families end in divorce. And that's the ones that actually get married. The other ones have children cohabitating, they don't make it less time than if they got married. So we have to have a sense of hope where we, one, build together the nucleus agreement that we're gonna build businesses together, and then we gotta start working with each other collaboratively. In other words, similar fields, like say you got people in the hair business, they gotta start coming together, having a meeting in the hair business, and figuring out how we can buy big, whatever supplies we need, and then share those resources and sell in different kind of ways. So it's all mental, it's no monumental thing that's gonna happen. But we have to collectively, mentally, resolve ourselves and think of a different way in which we can live.
Why was Black Wall Street so significant?
I'm gonna be frank with you, Black Wall Street was one of so many. You see what I'm saying? That's the one that's kind of placated in the news more often. I don't know why that is, probably because of the Wall Street, tag associated with it. But what it did was, it was a chain of events in history that wherever there was progress, we pulled back because of racism, right? You talk about redlining, did the same thing. Wilmington coup, same thing. And all over the nation, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, they all had similar situations where Black folks were just trying to live in their own communities, and then boom, right? So I think it's just a cog in our history to remind us of what it was. I think it's interesting to bring it back because, look, we're not doing that now. I've seen some hints of people trying to do it in certain communities. I love the tag Black Wall Street. But I think that event was significant because of the stigma to Wall Street, right? Now, the Wilmington coup was interesting because that was the Republican Party. And it was that, and it was Populist Party came together to say our city council is going to be biracial. We're going to have city council members that are Black and white under the Republican Party, they call it fusionists, and the Democratic Party were the Confederate. So they're the ones that went to kill the Blacks in Wilmington in 1898. And so we had political power. And that was significant. It really was. They don't get enough press, but that one was very significant because we actually were able to vote on conditions for white people and Black people politically. So
I think my question for you, Rex, is more of when we look at Black Wall Street, we look at Black ownership.
Yeah.
How important is Black ownership in our community? That is the question, because I believe in Tulsa, there was many Black businesses that thrived. How do we build Black businesses again in our community that thrives? Can we do that? That is my question. Is that possible?
Yeah, is it possible? It is, but to what significant level? Like, there's a lot of Blacks that own businesses, but that game they're playing doesn't move the big needle. The big needle is banking, manufacturing, you know, big business, big companies, et cetera, tech companies. You see what I'm saying? Because the advances in technology is so far ahead. Just open a barbershop, cool. That's going to provide income for you, right? But us to patronize, cool, right? Because that helps you provide for yourself. But in this big old universe where there's so much money passing forth, we got to figure out how to play that game. And that game is getting into supply chain management, distribution, streaming, scaling at a high level. You see what I'm saying? So in order for us to get there, it's going to take 20 Jay-Z's income, 20 Rihanna's. See what I'm saying? It's so much money to buy in because those industries, you ever try to get into a country club?
Right, it's hard. And it's almost.
Why is it hard?
Because it almost.
Because you got to be elected, right? Right?
I thought it was because of the amount that is required to get into the country club.
Okay, so there's established country clubs across the country.
Mhm.
Is it easy for us to get in? Because you have to be elected. Let me
I
ask you another
didn't
question.
know you had to be elected.
How about to be an owner of a NFL team? Is all you need is just money? Is that enough? You have to be elected. You have to vote to let you in. So nowadays, even if you have big money, you still have to have somebody to let you in.
So that's how they keep us out. Okay,
There you
okay,
go.
all right.
So we can.
I
move
thought
our-
it was, okay, go ahead. I'm
We can
sorry.
move our personal needle,
Mhm.
right? They do well. You got some people out here doing multiple franchises, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, et cetera. Cool, and you're employing people, that's great. But can we own the entire thing? Can we own a Walmart? Can we become that big? And that's the issue, because it ain't just money. You have to be let into these
Right.
exclusive club.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow. It's just another way to keep us out.
There you go. Because of the head start in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was a correction. Whenever there was a Black advancement, there was always an undercutting or a correction, right? From Muhammad Ali to
Yes.
James Jackson to, it's been a historical thing. So the question is, who's gonna let us in if we don't own the whole team? Yes.
And that is the importance of the concept of Black Wall Street working together.
Working
If
together.
we start bringing our resources together, then maybe we can change.
Yeah. Exactly. But,
change this around.
in 2021, we spent, Black people in America spent $1.7 trillion that we gave, we
Away.
poured into the economy, right?
Right.
Question was, how much money
Went into Black business.
to Black, that
Business.
went back into the Black community?
Right.
The answer is probably nil, right? Because we don't own significant business, put it that way.
And we don't support.
Yeah, I
And
think
some
we
don't
try to,
support, some
but
may not support, may not support.
But it only moves the needle small because our level of support is down here. Like whenever you, and I'll share this with you, whenever you sell into the customer, you're not even moving the needle. Now, when you selling to those who sell to those who sell to those who sell to the customer, okay, so this is paper,
That's
right?
right.
I need this paper to run my business. It's like I need the Clover units and I need all these things, right?
Right.
But we're not cutting down trees and processing wood in the paper, right? We all want to have T-shirts with our own little sayings on it, right? But who's creating the fabric to tie these T-shirts together? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So whenever you're dealing with customers, you're not even in the game of really wealth in this country. Anyway.
That's very discouraging. Is there any hope? That's
Yeah,
very
there is
discouraging.
hope. There is hope, and to me, the solution. I don't like to just throw out problems.
Yeah.
The solution, quite frankly, is nuclear families building businesses and then working together collaboratively and building communities.
So it
You know why I
starts,
say
in
that?
the- it starts
You
in
know why I
the,
say that's the solution?
okay,
I say that because if you can get a community, the whole Black community to buy into that aspect,
right,
then how can you correct us? Now, one person's killing the game, right? They trailblazing and making a bunch of money, almost cursed. They're making a bunch of money, right? Then they're a target because they're only one.
Yeah.
And what they don't want to do is get that only one to create hope in all the other ones, right? That's why a lot of folks who generated hope in the past are no longer with us. They're in the past. And so the way you do it is you get the entire Black community to start staying together, building businesses, bringing their children up in those businesses, creating their own nook of wealth, and then collaborating with like families doing the same thing. And America can't stop that.
we need a revolution.
And that's why I created nuclearpreneur mindset.
Yes.
And that speaks to just that, building better together.
Wow. I think my heart just dropped. So
Pick it back up.
how do we get our young people, the next generation of business leaders? How do we begin to prepare them to take the baton and move it forward? How do we do that? How do we get them to buy into this concept that it's for us to buy into? How do we do it?
Remember the old, there was some movie that was back in the days. There was a lady that was smoking a cigarette hanging out her mouth. And she would tell her kids, don't you smoke. But she's got ashes falling off the cigarettes. Remember that visual was in some movie back in the day.
Okay.
She was a contradiction, wasn't she?
Yeah, of course.
And she's smoking on their face, blowing smoke.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta be a contradiction. In other words, if we didn't keep our families together and we didn't raise our children together, we gotta tell them that's what they gotta do. Just because we didn't do it, we gotta contradict ourselves. So we gotta go through them saying, well, you didn't do it, I didn't do it. And I should have done it. It just didn't work out. But I want you to do it.
Right.
Why?
Better for
Because
you.
all the studies show that children do better in school when their families are together. Studies show people do better in their careers when their families stay together. And it also shows that the next generation from parents that stay together, they end up finding people and they end up staying together more than the opposite. Now there's anomalies, right? There's always anomalies. I never argue anomalies. I only argue what most of the data speaks to. So.
So let me ask you this. What lesson, as we talked about legacy, as we talked about building the Black communities, as we talked about, passing on our legacy to our children. What is the conversation that you have with your children?
Typically, it's two things I cover with children. One is I cover what's your passion. Identify it as early as you can to follow that. The second thing I talk about is the condition of the legacy building, business I'm building for them. Every conversation I tell them I'm building a business for them. Why? Because I want them to understand it. Most of them have worked here, other than my oldest. And I want them to get it into their heads that this is what families are supposed to do. Like if they hear it a million times, they may not like really buy in, but at some point, what your parents say, it comes back to you, don't it?
Yeah.
Don't it kind of like register maybe
Yeah.
you're 30, 35, 40 years old? And so I just think that we have to be rapid fire as parents and just keep telling them. I don't care if they ignoring us, they blowing us up.
Right.
You gotta keep telling them.
And I like the concept of not just telling them, but showing them, you know, and
Absolutely.
letting them see the success, letting them see how you started from humble beginnings and how you grew it and where you're at now. Every step in the process.
Yeah, agree.
They
No.
they should know.
They should know. What I would also say too, is I'm real big on taking inventory of yourself. We are experienced. You went through that, and I add something to you. So we got so much in us, but a lot of times we don't say it. Maybe I can do that. I did that. Maybe I can do this a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? We lay on all of our experiences. Oftentimes we don't activate them and then stretch them to be more. So I'm talking to them about get the experiences, experience everything, because nothing is done in vain. Like even if you had, I was talking about paper route. I learned so much on that paper route about myself that I didn't realize until now later in life what I was actually doing as an application for going after success and goals.
And it's amazing because most African-American male entrepreneurs you talk to, especially from the Midwest, they started with the paper route.
I know, right? I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. That was the first job.
Yeah. Riding your bike. Wrong.
Yeah, man. Story about
Absolutely.
but it taught me so much, man. Like determination, organization, follow up, etc. Yeah. Iteration.
And now we don't have newspapers. I mean,
Man, who letting that kid go out? Who letting that boy out at 10 years old to go?
right.
And I'm
Right.
not doing that.
And it's not
Some
even a
parents
safe.
ain't letting that 18-year-old boy out to
Right.
go paper out.
Right.
Like, he's too young.
Right.
It's too hard.
That brings me to another point.
Yeah.
The world is so different now.
It is different now.
It's not.
Not in a good or bad way. It's just different.
It's very different. How, and they will never understand the experiences that we have, but they have their own experiences.
So I'm gonna do another plug.
Okay.
Shameless plug for Build a Legacy Business. My son will come in here, he's 6 years old. Right? Come in here, he knows his task. He'll sweep the floor, he'll load up the drink machine, he'll water the plants, he'll help take boxes to the trash can. That's 6, right?
Wow.
And so if you have a legacy business, get your kids to work.
Put them to work.
That's how else are they gonna get
how will they learn?
any kind of work ethic? Because now we don't want to let them out of the house
Right.
at 15 years old because we're
Right.
scared somebody's gonna stuff.
Right.
So the family should provide the work ethic, right?
Right.
And not just playing your role, right?
Right. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. You are very gifted, and you are a brilliant Black man. Of course you are, because you're on the Brilliant Black Man Show. Who inspires you? Who inspires you to greatness? Is there someone that inspires you? Is there one person, or is there many people? Do you find your inspiration in books? Do you find your inspiration walking the streets? What inspires Rexford White to continue to write, continue to create, continue to build? It's almost like you're an island by yourself, but something is motivating you within to keep going and to keep creating and to become greater and greater. What is it?
That's a great question. Number one, I'm inspired by everything I see. Why? Because I see so many opportunities to help just the world in general. That inspires me. The other thing is, I'm also inspired by myself and what I can do. What more can I do? How more can I stretch myself? I got all these creative juices. And who can I inspire with my creativity? I'm inspired by that, but no one person. I mean, when I see people doing amazing things, it inspires me. It could be a 10-year-old kid, or it could be a 80-year-old woman in a bodybuilding contest. You know what I'm saying? I'm inspired by somebody who pushes themselves to do more than they normally can. See what I'm saying? I think that inspires me.
And how do you give back? How do you share your inspiration? How do you share your love for life, your love for people? How do you share how do you share who you are with others? How do you do that?
I think my writing is very important to me. It's gonna outlive me, you know. I really feel like the work I'm doing today, I may never see the fruits of it. And that's okay. Because I live in a space where I just want to be a contributor. And so I just want to have some things on record and some things in place that'll take care of those who come behind me. You see what I'm saying? That's really what it is to me. And oh, by the way, I'm having a great time with my life in general. I've created it.
Yes, you have.
And you're gonna live years anyway, so you might as well have fun creating the life that you want while you're doing it.
And it's amazing because I guess I could say this here. It seemed like we started on this path together, and we were in different places the last time that I interviewed you in 2020.
Yeah.
And looking at you today, and it's amazing to see what God can do in a vessel that yields to him. And I know that's true for you because I know your story and I know how important that is to you. And to see the brilliance just come forth, it's just, it sharpens me as a Black woman. It sharpens me. And I'm so proud of you. And I want to say that publicly. I am so proud of you and all of your achievements. And I know it's just not for you. I know it's for every person that walks through that door. It's for them. And I just love how you share who you are with others and how you always give back. And I know this is uncomfortable for me to say this to you right now, but I'm going to say it anyway. And so I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you have done. I'm proud of how you keep just moving forward and just creating something that has never been created before. I love your motto, Rex. It's building better together. Everything we've talked about today had that concept in mind. Building better together. Can we catch on to that? We're better together. We're better together. We're bigger together. Why is this your model and how do you live it out?
Yeah, it's my model because, again, all the information's out there. Our biggest impediment is not working together. So it's kind of common sense at this point, but how do I live it out? How do I get that message out?
Yes.
We talk about this all the time. Rex, how do you create an awareness for nuclear-preneur mindset? It's going to be a full court press. It's got to be content, books, in every interview. I wrote a screenplay that I'm finishing up. building my products up the way I'm doing it. All roads lead back to entrepreneur mindset. And inside of that is embedded similar mindset. What's embedded in there is loyalty. What's embedded in that is not superficial, but substance. You know, meeting each other substance-wise instead of what we can do for each other. Pretentiousness does not belong in there. Narcissism does not belong in there.
Yeah.
But it's a mindset of what can we do together.
What can we do together, and not what can I do for myself?
Yes,
And
yes.
it's only about
Mhm.
me, right?
Which is the way it was. Remember
Right.
a handshake plus the contract? Remember?
Right,
Well, I don't remember it, but I heard about it.
right, yeah,
Handshake, and everybody live within the
Right.
confines of the
Yeah.
handshake.
right,
We gotta get back to that.
wow.
And
And that's a
also,
level of trust,
it's a level of trust, and
Yes.
also, many of us don't do what we say we're gonna do.
right?
Some of us know we ain't gonna do it before while we saying it. Yeah, I'll be there. And
Right.
then, no
And
one's
the small things, you can't even show up on
I'll
time.
be there.
Right,
they know their mom, I got another appointment.
right.
The level of disrespect or
Yeah.
just common courtesy
Mhm,
is out the window.
mhm,
So we gotta get back to mentally the basics.
mhm.
I'll be there
I'll be there,
because I said I would.
Right,
I
and
might not wanna go,
right,
but I'll be there because I said I would.
right, and I'm a man and a woman of my word.
Oh, no,
And when I say it, I will show up,
there you go.
absolutely.
And that's what the nuclear mindset is.
Nuclear mindset, wow. Is that a new concept?
I created it because nuclear family is the best model for family,
Mhm.
which is parents raising kids all the way up until they go off into life.
Survive.
Preneur is part of entrepreneurship.
Right,
So I put the words together, immerse them. I got a full book I'm gonna probably release next year, and it's from the history all the way through to the solution.
Mhm.
Build a legacy business falls up under the nuclear mindset. Solution two, what we can start doing to make the next generations more cohesive, more productive, and less in debt.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
screenplays and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's all about an entrepreneur mindset.
Wow. This has been a great conversation, and I just don't want it to be a great conversation. What one thing can we walk away with where we can implement to begin to change for the better, to begin to work together to build these communities? What can we do as a people to change our current state?
Well, I'll put it this way,
Mhm.
to make stick. You
Okay.
ever had a dirty room in your house?
Yes.
Some people
I
have
may
like,
have
some people are
today.
hoarders, they got like really dirty rooms.
Uh-huh.
Well, those dirty rooms, look at it as like it's your subconscious mind
Mhm.
about the way things are.
Okay.
Way things are is in America, Black community are leaders and we're leaders in aborting babies, we're leaders in divorce, we're leaders in crime, Black on Black crime, or nationality versus nationality crime, right? That's inside of our subconscious mind. That's a dirty, cluttered room. In order to clean our room or declutter it, we gotta go and clean it out and let organization exist inside of that room. That way we know where everything is and it makes sense, and we can get in there efficiently and get out. What we gotta do. What we gotta do is we gotta put inside our subconscious mind that we can do amazing things together.
Mhm.
That we can take our wealth that we give into this economy and get it into our communities and programs. We gotta start being kinder to each other. We gotta acclimate love, understanding, care, and kindness towards one another. I call it luck. We gotta start putting that inside of our minds so when we go out in this world. If someone opens a door for us, we say thank you. If someone tries to talk to us, we don't think they're trying to talk to us. They're just being kind, right?
Right.
And so we gotta lose this disposition that everybody's out to get us. We can't trust nobody. We can't, work with anybody. Clean out that room and allow for the things of substance to come into that room. Therefore, we can allow ourselves to start thinking about a better place in this world. And hope only exists inside of a clean room.
Clean room. And it starts with renewing the mind. When the mind changes, the actions will
Absolutely.
change. So we need to change our mind.
Mhm.
And we need to change our mind with positive information.
Gotta
Put
clean your dirty room.
Clean the dirty room out and put some clean stuff in the inside. What strategies can we implement as we have just a couple of minutes left? What strategies can we implement for success? What would be your recommendation based on your success? Just give us 3.
Strategies for success. You gotta have a proper why. Because your proper why keep you motivated.
Okay.
The next thing, you gotta have an idea, a good idea. A good idea to me is, well, a bad idea is open up a video store,
Because they're obsolete.
right? That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
So you gotta have a good idea. In other words, look at the whole industry and see where you can play and then play up.
Okay.
And the third thing is most important is hard work
Yes.
while overcoming challenges, right?
Absolutely.
Some people get too hard work and then once they get the challenge, they just fold.
Right.
So this challenge is hard work.
Right.
Those would be 3.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this conversation today. I pray that it was enlightening and inspiring to you. We covered a lot today. We couldn't cover everything, but we covered a lot. I would like for you to follow Rex White. How can they follow you, Rex White? How can they be a part of all that you're doing? Do you have a website? What do you have that they can get in contact?
Yeah, we have a website called nuclearpreneur.com.
Okay.
I upload a lot of
Spell that, yes.
Oh, nuclearpreneur.com.
Mhm.
And I update a lot that's going on within my products, which is my LLC.
Okay.
So I got a lot going on there. And then we have Seafood Boil and Sea, which is the seafood restaurant.
Okay.
But that's the main way to follow us, to see what we're doing,
Mhm.
where we're moving, our vision,
Right.
and how we're going into new projects. Be nuclearpreneur.com.
.com. And on all social media platforms, you can follow
Yeah,
them as-
primarily as
as-
my businesses, Jack Seasonings
Mhm.
and Cajun Breakfast Joint and Seafood Boil and Sea.
Okay, and that's under Seafood Boil and Sea, or is it under Rexford?
Seafood Boil and Sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sea. Thank you again, Rexford White, for this just enlightening interview. I am just so full today. I just thank you for all that you are pouring into our community to make it better. I thank you for your passion, your creativeness, and just the wealth of knowledge that you're bringing to us in your books that you're writing and everything that you're doing. This is your success story. This is your personal success. You're living it out. And I just hope and pray that something that he said on today will inspire you to wake up, get up, and get to work, and that you will realize your own personal success. You will realize that you are brilliant and you have brilliance within you. Now it's time for you to walk it out. It starts today. Renew your mind and your actions will follow. This has been Melissa Johnson of Wild Ministries with the Brilliant Black Man Show. My special guest was Rexford White of Seafood Boil and Sea in Mount Holly, North Carolina. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you again for this interview. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for the update. Hey, he's gonna be back on the show because he's gonna be doing some really big things. Rexford White with the Brilliant Black Man Show. Thank you for watching. Melissa Johnson, Wild Ministries. Have a wild kind of day.
Thanks for tuning into The Brilliant Black Man Show with Melissa Johnson on the TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information and to watch any of the past inspiring interviews of the BBM shows, you can follow the tour at The Brilliant Black Man Show on YouTube or WildMinistriesLLC.com. These successful men's stories are worth sharing with the world. Wow Ministries, inspiring the world with the Brilliant Black Man Show.